Alright, we are at Sheam Wetlands, just east of Chilliwack, and here I'm looking towards Bridal Falls. I'm zooming into the falls itself. It's across the freeway, and as you can see, it's quite a nice falls. When you're down below, you don't see the whole falls. You only see the lower part of the falls, which I think is the most beautiful part of the falls. Look at the water cascading down there. Isn't that beautiful? I absolutely love this. Absolutely love this. And that's from Sheam Wetlands. Now we're taking the journey from the freeway, and we're going up a road that takes us to the parking lot to Bridal Falls. As you can see, it's a very lush forest. Camping on the left-hand side there. There's another campground beside this campground, and then the water slides beside that. Garbage on the side of the road. Pigs. This guy out for a walk. It's a beautiful little forest area. We actually call this the Enchanted Forest. You'll notice that the trees are just full of moss. It's very humid in here. We're at the parking lot now. Not too many people here. Everybody getting ready to go for a walk. That's looking back toward the way I came in. Here's the washrooms. They also have pit toilets here as well. This is kind of the trailhead. There's our vehicle. As you can see, not very many cars are here at this time of the day. And it's about, I'd say 11 o'clock. I walked further down the parking lot and then started my journey up toward the falls. It's about a 15-minute walk up to the falls. There's Debbie up ahead looking at the sights. And they want us to do various things like single file and allow people to pass and don't congregate. And the water, the sound of the water rushing through here is just beautiful. Just beautiful. We look at these areas of the little waterfalls, and with our still digital cameras we capture some beautiful photos here. We make the water nice, silky smooth, almost like a bride's dress. Bridal Falls. Picnic area. Come and enjoy a picnic. Bring your little hibachi. Look at the moss in the trees just hanging there. It doesn't go away. It stays like this all year long. It sometimes gets dried out in the summertime because it gets hot and the humidity level drops. But a fair bit of water coming down on this section of the creek. There's another creek as well, and it has just as much water. On a hot summer's day, you'll see all these picnic tables busy with people with families enjoying the outdoors. Look at the cascading water. Isn't that beautiful? Wow. The trail leading up is fairly flat. Here's the main trailhead from the washroom. That's where you normally would head up. or head to have a picnic. If you got a digital camera, you can get some really beautiful shots in this creek. We've been known to actually go into the creek with our boots, our tripods, and our big digital SLRs. And the sound of the running water is just so calming. The trail is relatively flat all the way up. This is where we split off into two trails. We'll come back on the trail on the left. And the water rushing over the rocks. Just beautiful. I wouldn't recommend a walker going up to the trail, any of these trails. Some areas there's roots sticking out, making it very hard to pass by. It's about a 15-minute walk. But for the most part it's like this. You can see the lush forest, the ferns. Fallen trees everywhere. Nature revitalizing itself. Look at the ferns. Virtually thousands of ferns. And look at the moss in the trees, hanging onto the branches and the tree trunk. This is a provincial park, by the way, controlled by the provincial government. They clean it every single day, the washrooms, and clean the garbage and walk the trail, getting other garbage off the trail. So it's always clean. That's just looking back. Scanning the area just to give you an idea. Look at how thick these trees are, how tall they are. This is looking up toward the falls. That's where we're going to head up. An old tree stump just rotting away, giving itself back to nature. Again, we walk right into this creek with our tripods and cameras, and we take some beautiful photos. Here I'm showing you where I'm walking. Don't want to get too close to the edge. It's kind of muddy. It can cave into the creek and makes for an embarrassing situation, getting all wet. But look at the moss again, just hanging onto the dead trees that have fallen. You can see a lot of debris in the creek. We've been known to clean up that debris so that the falling water at this particular point, for an example, looks a little nicer. The debris looks almost like a beaver dam, very messy. When we take these beautiful waterfalls, we want the debris to be somewhat gone. It allows for the water to flow freer. Less distractions in the photo as well. This is a section of the creek that I absolutely love. Look at the falling water in there. Beautiful. Just beautiful. More moss. Wow. More ferns. Little baby ferns. Full-grown ferns. Moss. Lots of debris. Lots of debris. In these forested areas, the winds blow here, and a lot of fallen timber, branches, leaves. There's Debbie checking out the stump. Get a little closer, just give you an idea where we walked to go in to get some of these photos. It's very slippery in here, so you want to make sure that you wear adequate footwear. Today I had running shoes on. Look at that shot. Isn't that a nice composition? When we soften the water, that'll look beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Look at the moss. More cascading water. Looks different from the top than it does like shooting it from the bottom, looking upwards. As you can see, the trail is not flat. It slopes into the creek. You want to keep this as natural as possible. That curved log has been there for as long as I can remember. I think I've been probably shooting in this creek for 15 years, and that log has not moved. Look at that, isn't it beautiful? And the sound, the water rushing. Oh man, calming. More of the forest area. You'll notice that some areas are out in bright sun, some areas are in shade. The reason being is that over the years, those sunny areas used to be shady, but the trees have fallen, opening up the forest to the sun. Made kind of a bench sitting area for someone. Fallen trees. Lots of moss, lots of fern, lots of decaying stumps. Roots growing in through the stumps, making for another tree. Beautiful. Not too many places in my area has this much ferns growing. Take note of that family. How young that little boy is. You'll see him further on in the video. I was very disappointed with the father. Not something that I would do with my little boy, and you'll see why. More tree roots, very slippery. I'll make sure that we don't slip. You get an idea how big these little falls are with the family up there, walking across the bridge. It's a different perspective looking at the falls from this angle than from the bridge. From the bridge it looks boring, but from here you see the cascading water. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. A lot of debris here. A lot of debris. Kids will go in there and play with that debris, and eventually it'll all be clear. Look at the size of the trees. One day that tree will come down. Wow. Another huge tree. Here's that bridge that the family was on. Looking down. Now we would walk down here to get into the creek. And again, it's pretty steep, and we have to be very, very careful because you never know when you're going to slip on a rock or a tree root that's just below the dirt. This is another one of my areas that I like to photograph. Just beautiful. A lot of leading lines in here, a lot of cascading water, making for some interesting patterns. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. They cleaned this all up. It used to be all covered in brambles. Now it's open. And maybe the river, creek took out the brambles. Who knows? Look at that. Nice shot. The moss, the ferns, the rocks, the dead wood, the flowing water. And the sound of the water rushing over the rocks and cascading down. Beautiful sound. Just beautiful. As you can see that there's a fair bit of steps in this area. So if you've got a walker or a wheelchair, it's not friendly to those type of devices. Able-bodied people. I'm surprised that nobody's complained. This little area here, they cleaned this out, made it more accessible to us. We used to have to work our way into here because the brambles were so thick. And look at it now. But look at the opportunities of the rushing water, and the cascading water, the moss. The falling debris into the creek, logs, parts of logs, wow. And the sound of the bridge. Just to give you an idea of the area. There's Debbie. Scouting out ahead, making sure that I see things. And the sound of the forest is so different. So different than the city, the highway. Even the road coming up, so different. Look at the tree roots. Tree roots everywhere. Fallen trees. Over the years, a lot of trees have fallen down in here because of high winds. You do not want to be in the park when that happens. They close this park off for the winter. You enter at your own risk. Most people don't come in here at all. They abide by the signs and stay away. In the winter time, you'll see ice in the creek. Trail takes a jog to the left and a jog to the right. Left or right? Which way should I go? Let's take the flat route. Much better. see the tree roots. It's not very friendly to, like I said, strollers and wheelchairs or people with mobility issues. Look at the texture on the tree. Wow. Wow. Moss, bark, decay. Who knows how many bugs live in there? Fair bit of mosquitoes in this park because of the humidity. We were here yesterday and I discovered a couple of mosquitoes because they bit me. They didn't survive, unfortunately. So I suggest wearing off. Make your journey into the forest much more pleasant. Kids have inscribed their names and initials and things of importance in their life. That's looking down where we came from. Another family coming up. Oh, a couple. Another family. Family maybe to be. Nice. It wasn't hot in here and it wasn't cool. A little humid. That's about it. More fallen trees, more rotting trees, more ferns, more moss. Look at the size of these trees. Reaching up into the heavens. I asked this couple that came up behind me if they could reach around the tree just to give a perspective of how big these trees are. Look at this. They were so glad to do this for me. Thank you very much, kids. Looking backwards. These trees, like they're hollow or... Yeah, very interesting. Change the exposure just so you can see better into the forest. Back onto the auto exposure. Brightens things up considerably. Alright, we're getting closer to the falls. Getting real close to the falls. Oops. Coming up to another favorite area of mine. And you can see going down to the creek. You get slippery walking on a lot of these tree roots. A lot of debris up here. More moss. Some type of ivy. And the sound of the water cascading over the rocks and the debris. Okay, we're coming up to one of my favorite areas. And look at what I gotta walk through. All these tree roots. Gotta make sure as I walk around them or over them because they are very, very slippery in here, especially with wearing runners where there's no traction. You don't want to go jump on any of these logs either. They're even slipperier. It did rain before we got here, so that added to the humidity and to the moisture on everything. But just to give you an idea of the terrain, what it's like. And all the little cascading falls is what we look for. Absolutely beautiful. Normally, This creek doesn't have too much water in it when we come up, but it's usually later in the season. We don't normally come up this early. Look at how much water is coming down here now. That's about triple what normally comes down through here. The area over to the right, oh my goodness, right there. Those two rocks with the moss on it, I absolutely love that. Absolutely love it. This falls here has changed through the years. Sometimes the water's rushing through here so hard, it just washes all the dirt away. So instead of water cascading down on both sides, it only cascades on one side of those two rocks. Changes every single year. Every single year. And we're good with that. Never makes the same picture twice. And we're getting closer to the big falls. We're still at the small falls here. Guy's carrying his girlfriend. I gotta traverse all back up through here again. It's actually fun. I just find I spend more time looking at my feet than I do the surrounding areas, so. My balance isn't quite the same as it was when I was younger. Alright, we're getting real close to the falls. We're seeing the falls, I should say. This is a lookout area. They want you to stay here where it's safe. We'll walk over to the right, and that's where that young couple walked over there. Because we've got proper attire, we'll walk right through that water. Now, as we look up, alright, here's the family get ready to look at the falls. That bright area up in the top, I'm going to lower the exposure and look at the falls. Isn't that beautiful? As I said, this is the lower part of the falls. Now there's people up at the bottom of the falls up there, if you can see them. That's the family with the little kid. Very, very wet up there, very, very slippery, and with the water cascading down, it's very, very loud. That little guy, his little senses are probably going wild at this point. In my opinion, this is not the time to be taking little kids up there. Not the time. They didn't have proper footwear either. Excuse me. I'll get back to this guy. But isn't that falls beautiful? This is why they call it Bridal Falls. Because it looks like a bride's dress. There's a caution hazard sign here. Do not proceed. But there's another guy with a young girl going up. I'm going to say tens of thousands of people ignore that sign and go up to the falls every year. Every year, tens of thousands of people. I refuse to go up this part of the hike. Now here's that little guy again. Look at this. He's struggling. Look at the kid. He's afraid. He is afraid. He's looking down, and it's a steep journey. Look at this. So unprepared. He's got rubber boots on. Slippery rubber boots. I'm sorry. I just, have no respect for this dad whatsoever. It is not the place that you take a small boy. That's the couple that I had wrapped around the tree. They walked up there and made it up safely. There's the dad and his little girl. See how easy it is to fall? Get a nicer view of the falls again. The camera cannot adjust for both the darkness of in the trees and the brightness of the falls because it's out in the bright sun. Alright, I'm heading back down again. I'm going to take a different trail down. I'm going to take that Woodland Trail, I think it's called. Yeah, Woodland Trail. So I'm on the opposite side of that creek that we went up. I was on the west side of that creek, now I'm on the east side. Debbie joined me for part of the walk down here, and when we got to the stairs, it was pretty mucky, and she decided to go back and go down the main trail. I don't blame her. When it gets pretty mucky, people just get in here and just bleh, make it even worse, and then they track that onto the stairs. Many times I went down here and I went off to the side of the stairs because it was just too dangerous. Too dangerous. There's the other trail over there. Debbie made her way over there. For part of this, I hugged the left-hand side of the stairs, walked on the dirt. I let these guys go ahead of me. You can see how the water just accumulates in some areas of the stairs. I'm not going to walk through that. There's looking back how many stairs I went already. It's not a hard climb, but as you can see, it would take a walker or wheelchair or anybody with a mobility issue. Not the place for them. Here I walked around the stairs. Back where it was safer. And then we're finished. Alright, this tree log, they've split it, or it's split. Been laying here for as long as I can remember. You can poke your head in this side here. You can look out the other side. And then you get someone with a camera, and then they'll go in this side and they'll take your picture looking through the log. How cool is that? How cool is that? Nice framing. How long this tree will be here in this condition, who knows? Mother Nature might reclaim it sooner than we think. That's probably where it was sawn off of. The journey down is not steep. You can see where the stairs brought me down. And the sounds of the forest are so nice. So much different than the big city. As we head down, we're following this trail with fallen trees and wood. It's kind of a pea gravel type of trail. Kind of nice that they put that in here. Lots of fallen wood. Some purposely. Some Mother Nature. Lots of moss, lots of ferns. It's very, very fresh smelling in here. It doesn't smell bad. It doesn't smell like anything in particular. It just has a fresh, clean smell to it. Like Mother Nature took care of business. And another tree trunk. A stump actually, pardon me. More fallen trees. Some have been there for a while, some are just from this last winter. More tree roots exposed, more ferns. Beautiful. This park is about a 20-minute drive from Chilliwack, heading east on Trans-Canada 1. The park is called Bridal Falls Provincial Park. This little creek, I have never ever seen water flowing in it, but yet it gives you signs that water has been flowing down through it. Another tree fallen. That one looks fairly recent. More fallen trees. More tree stumps. You can see that they've actually broken off. They weren't sawn off. Alright, we're getting down to the parking lot. If I kept on going straight, it would take me to the end of the parking lot. If I take this trail to the left, not this one, but the trail here, and it will take me back to the upper part of the parking lot. Look at the moss again growing on the tree. Mother Nature is beautiful. Look at the moss on the trees behind. Again, the enchanted forest. Beautiful. Beautiful. It's a cultivated trail, but still a natural trail. So I think we'll take the trail to the left and head to the parking lot. Oh, another thing you don't see here is bikes and scooters. Again, not the place for it. It's not a bike riding trail. We have trails for that purpose. More fallen trees, stumps, moss, ferns. And a host of other things growing in the forest. I like the coloring. Absolutely beautiful. This is what you see when you stop and smell the roses, so to speak. We're getting closer to the parking lot. This is the little bridge coming up that takes you to the main trail. So instead of crossing over the bridge, I'm going to stay on this side of the creek. And just head down on this side, show you some of the area. The creek going through, the foliage. And there's a picnic area in here as well. The park has provided nice picnic benches, areas where you can bring in a briquette barbecue. Father and the son enjoying the wilds of nature. Here's some more picnic tables. And again, if you're going to picnic here, you bring your bug spray. Look at the nice picnic benches. All on concrete pads, so it makes them level. And the sound of the cascading water. There's the washrooms down there. There's the parking lot. I'm just going to go a little bit further down from the washrooms and then cross back over again. Look at the moss. Isn't that beautiful? And it's funny, you don't smell moss. Like it's almost like it has no smell to it. Kind of a neutral smell. More picnic tables. More fallen wood. Look at this. Fungi growing on the end of the fallen tree. All sorts of different type of fungi in the forest. Depends on the sunlight, depends on the moisture content, depends on the probably the chemicals that are in the tree. Determine what type of fungi grow. There's more fungi growing at the end of the fallen tree trunks. More fungi. By the end of the season, the kids will probably knock all this fungi off. That's okay. Mother Nature will grow it all back again. It doesn't have a huge lifespan. Look at this fern. Look at this. I had to do this type of a shot to be creative. I like that. Not sure what would have gone nicely in the center. But that is so cool. That the fungi, the ferns and the moss, not moss, fallen debris. And there's some bugs in there too. So natural. Natural, yet cultivated. That's what I like about this particular park. Oh, back to the cascading water again. Oh, I am so in love with cascading water. Yet I cannot sleep beside cascading water. One of those sounds that keeps me up. Here's the parking lot. I could have walked down further, but I decided not to walk too far down. Here's the bridge I'll cross over. I'll come back to it. Looking back up the creek again. Long time ago they put rock walls here to keep the water into a channel. Through the years it's been eroded away. More cascading water. Just listen to that. That's such a beautiful sound. There's a little lookout area where you can wheel somebody with a wheelchair so that they can take in some of the beauty of the forest. Look at the tree roots getting undermined by the rushing water or cascading water through here. One day that tree will fall. So nice. So nice. More moss. More tree roots. More cascading water. More debris. More trees. More fallen trees. Ferns. Rotting debris. Little hiding points for small animals as well, where they can spend the night. And we're pretty much gonna call this video an end here. Thank you for watching.